Bad Mojo, huh?
That it is.
All right, now where in the world did you get an idea to have a game with a cockroach as the lead character?
Well, it came from our company president, Drew Huffman, who woke up one night with a cockroach in his ear.
Oh,
yeah.
He was like screaming.
And the first thing he thought was, let's make a computer game.
No, the first thing he said was, take me to the emergency room.
Really?
No one believed him, though.
So he had this roach in his ear.
And a roach in his ear. So he told this fascinating roach story, which we thought was hilarious, and this made us think, hey, what a great topic for a game.
Oh, now there's a kind of a programming reason for using the roach too, right? Which is interesting.
That's correct. We wanted to have a game with a very small character, a small sprite to update on the screen.
So it was real quick, and you don't have to wait and wait and wait.
So it's fast, yeah.
So we thought, yeah.
Everybody's got like a roach story, right? I mean, other weird things that happened with you guys who were on this team with roaches?
That was one of the things about the game, that, the concept that's really cool is that everybody has an experience with bugs. And we've all, during the course of the game, we had tons of different wacky experiences because we kept like 1,000 roaches.
Well, nobody has not seen a roach or had some scary experience with a roach. Now, Drew had another one, right? In which, he went on vacation somewhere?
He went on vacation and it turned out his camera was infested with cockroaches.
Well, his whole apartment was infested with bugs. So he brought this camera and it was filled with bugs. And he took all these, pictures of his vacation. And when he came back, there were like little silhouettes of roaches on the
roaches were inside the camera.
Yeah. So they made impressions on the film.
So why not make a game make everybody else just as grossed up?
Share a horrible experience.
All right, now what's the story of the game? You're a cockroach, and how do you get that, and what do you have to do?
Well, you're an embittered young entomologist who's just embezzled a whole bunch of money from the university where you work, and you're turned into a roach so that you might see the error of your ways and change your life.
All right, so you become a roach, and then what do you have to do? You sort of just navigate? Is it like Sim Roach, or what?
It's not really like a simulation. It's more like we wanted to make a game that was very immersive. So you saw the world from a roach's perspective. So you're a small little bug that has to navigate through the 6 rooms of this old decrepit apartment building. And along the way, you encounter all the different obstacles that a roach might encounter. Rats and spiders, deadly foes. You also encounter obstacles that prevent you from getting where you need to go. And the world suddenly becomes a vast landscape when you're 5
So you're not worrying about food and energy. You just move around as a roach and see what happens.
You're just worried about staying alive.
Now, what kind of research did you guys do other than getting bugs in your ears? I mean, did you actually study roaches to see how to make this lifelike?
Well, in addition to having 2 entomologists as technical consultants, we did have about 3,000 live roaches in the office.
Total tank full of bugs.
In a box, I hope it's.
In an aquarium.
They called it, you buy it, it's called the roach hut. It was a hideous container full of bugs.
And you said there was something, you guys were crawling around pretending you were roaches to know this?
We were down in the basement on our hands and knees, trying to get into the mindset, method acting.
We'd walk around looking at the world like this to see what it looked like from a roach's perspective.
Now, when you guys went on the road with this, I know you went to Comdex, you actually brought some of these roaches with you, kind of like a prop. I mean, what happened with the roaches you were traveling with? Are they good companions?
They got out in a real ritzy Chicago hotel.
And we had 2 Madagascars, and they're big, they're like 4 inches. And we brought them on the plane. We were going to bring them to the show, kind of shock value. Then put them in the tub, let them walk around. Long flight, they're tired. And they got out. We didn't know where they were. We're freaking out. We're running around our whole room looking for them. And we found them about 20 minutes later after pulling our hair out. They were like wedged up in the shower curtain.
Oh, man. The maid found them?
No, Thank God, no. They would have kicked us out of the hotel for sure.
Now, after having designed this game and spent all this time with roaches and played the game and so on, have you changed your attitude about roaches? You think of these guys differently rather than just yucky creatures?
Yeah, we think of them as fascinating creatures. They've been around for so long, and they're perfect.
You don't step on them now when you see them?
Oh, I'd stomp one if I found it in my kitchen.
I wouldn't.
All right, let's get back into the game now. So when you play the game, all you do is you walk around and discover where you are, and there are hostile things you have to figure out what it is?
Well, there's obstacles and puzzles. There's things you have to overcome. For example, you've got to figure out how to knock your landlord out. You've got to drug your landlord, because you need to do that in the course of the game.
Because he's going to try to kill you or something, or get you?
Well, you need him to be out cold in order to move through the environment that he's sort of hanging out in. Because there's other people.
Well, I played this part of the game, so I know what you're talking about.
So you've got to figure out how to knock your landlord out. How do you do that when you're a cockroach? Well, other animals in the game give you clues, and they tell you what to do, and they tell you important pieces of information. If you listen to the other bugs and insects in this room, they'll give you some pieces of information that will allow you to knock out this 300-pound guy by dumping pills into his beer, drinks the beer, and
so the end object is what? To try to demetamorph
Well,
metamorphosize or whatever,
Yeah.
become a human again?
Yeah, you've got to become a human again.
You've got to work your way back up to your apartment where you live. The guy that you're playing lives. He's kind of out cold. He's in this like catatonic state. And once you get all the way through the game and you get back up there, you can turn yourself back into a human being. You can kind of reanimate yourself.
So this is one creepy game. Now, what's the reaction of people when they first see the game? What do they do?
They either run or they all come gather around the screen to check out.
They go, yuck, I don't have anything to do with this game?
A few people do that, yeah.
They love it or they flee.
All right, you guys are going to dress up as a cockroach for Halloween?
No, we've had enough of roaches.
No, no.
All right,
No more.
Thanks a lot.